This is your Unit 12 test review. The test covers all solids and surface area and volume. Be sure to write answers in terms of pi when applicable, and answers must have correct labels. Number 1, each edge of a cube is 9 centimeters. Find the surface area and volume of the cube. When we look at the formula chart, the cube is not on this one, but it's on the new one. However, we do know that a cube is a prism, and the total surface area of a prism is pH plus 2b. So we can use this formula, or we can use the cube formula. But again, at this time, we don't have the other one. And I didn't memorize it, folks, so sorry. So the surface area, again, for any prism is pH plus 2b. So I need to find the perimeter, but it's a cube. So that means each side or each edge is 9. So to find the perimeter of the base, if you want to pull that aside, it's 4 times S. So that means it'd be 4 times 9, which is 36. And since the edge is 9, that represents your height as well. So our height is 9. Now to find B for a square, it's S squared. So that means it's 9 squared, which is 81. So we grab our calculator and we can type all this in one motion. 36 times 9 plus 2 times 81. 486 centimeters squared is our surface area. So again, since it's area, make sure you square your units. Now let's talk about the volume. The volume of a prism is equal to B times H. B again was 81 and H is 9. So now 81 times 9 is all we need to calculate. And we get 729. So our volume is 729 centimeters cubed. Make sure when you're dealing with volume, you cube your units. These are very important tools because you will be docked on test day. All right, number 2 reads, the diameter of a cone is 80 centimeters, the height of the cone is 9 centimeters, and the slant height of the cone is 41 centimeters. Find the surface area and volume. So for a cone, the total surface area is pi times r times L slant height plus pi times radius squared. Okay, so if the diameter is 80, we would take 80 divided by 2 to find our radius, which is 40. So it's pi times 40. It told us our slant height was 41 plus pi times 40 squared. Since it wants it in terms of pi, the only things we put in the calculator is everything except pi. So 40 times 41 plus 40 squared. And we get 3240. So our surface area is 3240 pi centimeters squared. Now it's time to find the volume. Volume is 1/3 B times H. To find B for a circle or cone, but what the base is a circle, you take pi times radius squared. So that means it's pi times 40 squared. And we want the exact base area when we're going to substitute it in because we want our answers in terms of pi. So that would be 1600 pi. So it's 1/3 times 1600 pi times our height, which is 9. I believe that's what it said before I accidentally wrote over it. Yep. So now we're going to put all of this in our calculator except for pi. So we put 1/3 times 1600 times 9. 4800. So our volume is 4800 pi centimeters cubed. Number 3 says the dimensions of a rectangular prism are 4, 7, and 10. Find the surface area and volume of the rectangular prism. So we've done a prism already. Again, the surface area of a prism is P times H plus 2 times B. Since it's a rectangle, to find the perimeter of the base, it's 2 times L plus W. So it doesn't matter which one we consider our base in this problem because you're going to get the same total surface area no matter what. So let's say I go with the first two numbers, 4 and 7. So that means 2 times 4 plus 7. 4 plus 7 is 11. 11 times 2 is 22. So the perimeter of my base is 22. Now this would be different if you chose to use 10 and 7 or 10 and 4. But again, at the end of the day, the total surface area will be the same no matter what. So since I said 4 and 7 were from the base, that means the height of my prism is 10 plus 2 times the base area. So now to find B for a rectangle, it's length times width. So that means for my rectangle, it's 4 times 7, which is 28. So we grab our calculators and type this all in. So it's 22 times 10 plus 2 times 28, which is 276. And we're still with centimeters, I believe. Yeah. So the surface area is 276 centimeters squared. Now for the volume, again, volume is B times H. And we said B was 28 in the earlier portion. And then the height was 10. So 28 times 10 is 280. So my volume is 280 centimeters cubed. So again, it doesn't matter which dimensions you decided to use for the base rectangle. Just make sure you remember which ones you use so that the height will be used properly or substituted properly. It might help you to try and draw this rectangle prism and then label it so that you have a visual and won't forget the specific base shape, dimensions, as well as the 3D height. Number 4. Said the diameter of a sphere is 30 centimeters. Find the surface area and the volume. So let's go back to our chart to recall the sphere's formula. For surface area, it's 4 pi radius squared, and for volume, it's 4 over 3 pi radius cubed. So surface area is first. It's 4 pi radius squared. So that's 4 times pi. The diameter is 30, so that means the radius is 15, half of 30. And then for the volume, it's 4 over 3 pi radius cubed. So that means it's 4 over 3 pi 15 cubed. So just like I'm showing you and how I took the formula straight off the chart and I'm able to write it down, I expect the same thing from you. Then I substitute the specific values where they belong. So for example, the specific value in this one is just the radius, and I put it in parentheses whenever I substitute. Please do the same thing if you want full credit on your test. That's all I'm asking. Let's be consistent. So for the surface area, again, I'm putting everything in except for pi. So 4 times 15 squared. So my surface area is 900. Now for the volume, 4 over 3 times 15 to the third power. All right, let's write both of these down. First, the volume, 4,500 pi. Are we still in centimeters? Yes, we are. 4,500 pi centimeters cubed. And then the surface area was 900 centimeters squared. Okay, let's go on. Number 5 says the base of a pyramid is a square. Each side of the square is 24 centimeters. The height of the pyramid is 16. The slant height of the pyramid is 20. Find the surface area and the volume. So it's a square base. So that means to find the perimeter is 4 times s. So that's 4 times 24, which is 96. To find the base area, it's s squared, so 24 squared, which I believe is 576. I'm gonna have to double check that one. It says the height, which is h, is 16, and the slant height is 20. That's an L, not an E. So let's look at the formula chart. For pyramid, it's 1/2 PL plus B for the surface area. So that's 1/2, 96. Slant height is 20 plus my base area, which is 576. Again, I gotta double check that. It's 24 squared. Yes, alrighty. So that's 0.5, which is 1/2, times 96 times 20 plus 576 for my surface area. 1536. 1536 centimeters squared. Now the volume for a pyramid is 1/3 BH. So that's 1/3 576 times 16. So 1 divided by 3 is 1/3 times 576 times 16. 3072. So the volume is 3072. Centimeters cubed. Number 6 says the diameter of a cylinder is 8 centimeters. The height of the cylinder is 40 centimeters. Find the surface area and volume. So the formula for cylinder is 2 pi RH plus 2 pi R squared. And for volume is BH. So surface area is 2 pi RH plus 2 pi R squared. So 2 pi, our radius is 4 because the diameter is 8. Our height is 40 plus 2 pi 4 squared. And then for the volume, it's B times H, so we need to find B. B is equal to pi R squared for a cylinder, so that's pi 4 squared, which is 16 pi. Again, we want things in terms of pi, so we want the exact. So 16 pi times my height, which is 40. Now we can grab our calculator and do both at the same time. Again, we're going to put everything except for pi into the calculator. So for this surface area, we're putting 2 pi times 4 times 40. Oh no, everything except for pi. Sorry guys. So let me go delete the pi off. Alright, easy fix. Plus 2 times 4 squared. And that's 352. Now for the volume, it's just the 16 and the 40. Which is 640. So 352 pi for my surface area. Centimeters squared. And for my volume, it's 640 pi centimeters cubed. Number 7 says the height of a triangular prism is 20 centimeters. The base of the prism is a right triangle with sides 12, 35, and 37. Find the surface area and volume of the triangular prism. So since it is a prism, formula for surface area is still pH plus 2b. But since it is a triangle, the perimeter is found by taking all 3 sides and adding them together. So 12 plus 35 plus 37 will give me that perimeter. To find the base area, since it is a triangle, it's BH over 2. And if it's a right triangle, the longest side is the hypotenuse. So that's the side we're not going to use. So that means we're only going to use 12 and 35 to find my area. So now let's calculate those 2 values. So 12 plus 35 plus 37. For my perimeter is 84, and then half of 12 is 6, so 6 times 35 for my area, 210. So the perimeter is 84, and my area is 210. So now let's put them in their place. 84, and the height of the prism was 20. plus 2 times 210. All right, so 84 times 20 plus 2 times 210. 2100 centimeters squared. Now for the volume. Again, it's still a prism. So that means it's B times H. B was 210. H was 20. So 210 times 20 is 4,200. So the surface area was 2,100 centimeters squared, and the volume was 4,200 centimeters cubed. All right, our last question. A hemisphere has a diameter of 12 centimeters. Find the surface area and volume of the hemisphere. So for surface area of a hemisphere, which is on your chart, can be found by taking 3 times pi times radius squared. So that means 3 times pi times 6 squared. Since the diameter is 12, the radius has to be 6. For volume of a hemisphere, meaning half of a sphere, volume is found by taking 2/3 pi r cubed. So that's 2/3 pi 6 cubed. And we want the answers in terms of pi, so don't put pi into the calculator. Everything else is fine. So that's 3 times 6 squared for my surface area. And 2/3 times 6 cubed for my volume. So my surface area is 108. My volume is 144. Surface area 108 pi centimeters squared. And my volume 144 pi centimeters cubed. And this concludes your tutorial for your review. Good luck on your tests.